So whenever people talk about Xerjoff, there are immediately some fragrances that come to mind. Italica, Neo, More Than Words, Oud and Overdose, and of course, Naxos. This is a fragrance that I have loved for a long time. I've been delaying my review of it. I'm excited to finally have my review out and ready to go. And I'm excited to tell you what I think about this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of Naxos by Xerjoff, and I tell you all about this fragrance, the performance, the smell, the notes, comparisons, all that good stuff, I do want to start things off by mentioning that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. Make sure to hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I do upload future fragrance videos. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you take something of value from today's episode. I also want to mention that if you are interested in purchasing this fragrance, you may do so at perfumeonline.ca. They have really good customer service, very fast shipping, 100% authentic products, and a lot of hard to find niche and designer fragrances for a really, really good price. Now, this fragrance is part of the 1861 collection, which also includes Renaissance, one of my favorites of all time. Now, Naxos is the tobacco-based release. So there's honey, tobacco, cinnamon, vanilla, tonka bean, lavender. There's a little bit of citrus in the opening as well, in addition to cashmeran. So you have a lot of smooth, creamy, sweet notes, but then you also have the elegance of the tobacco, which also adds kind of like a darker quality to the fragrance. Now, I personally know of many people who consider this to be their favorite Xerjoff fragrance, and for good reason. I think it's on the darker side of things. I think it has that natural quality that you'll end up finding with a lot of Xerjoff creations, and the performance on it is also very, very good. The only qualm might be that now, as we're entering warmer weather, people might want to have it take a back seat so that they can bring out their fresher offerings like Torino 21, Neo, Renaissance, and 40 Knots. And of course, the House of Xerjoff has a lot of fresh fragrances as well. I'm going to be letting you know what I think of this fragrance, the smell, the versatility, all that good stuff. Let's take a quick look at the gorgeous presentation. So in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get a heaping dose of tobacco. There's a lot of tobacco in this fragrance, and you know, at times it kind of gives off like that moistened pipe tobacco smell, but at times it smells kind of airy. And I think because, you know, there's the lavender and there's a lot of citrus in here, that kind of contributes to the airy component that you're gonna get from this fragrance. But it has this warm personality about it too, because you do get the cinnamon, you do get the honey, you do get the tonka bean and the vanilla. So you have these sweet, creamy elements, and just that, you know, warm, sweet, spicy, cinnamony, honey, vanilla vibe puts you in the mindset of fragrances like Fan Your Flames by Nichane, or Herod by Parfums de Marly. And of course, there is one fragrance to which this does get compared a lot. Hundreds of people have compared it to this fragrance on an online fragrance forum, and it's none other than Pure Havane by Thierry Mugler, part of the Amen line. Now, on first sniff, yes, you are going to get a similarity to Pure Havane, but Pure Havane has more of that characteristic Angelman patchouli kind of a vibe, that ambery patchouli, ethyl maltyl, you know, sugar, you know, sponge sugar kind of a feel, and you don't necessarily get all of that from Naxos. Naxos is actually much fresher, much brighter, while still retaining that warmth in the base to kind of give you that really, really good longevity that a lot of Xerjoff fragrances are typically associated with. So for that reason, I really enjoy Naxos, and I think it's, you know, precisely that bright citrusy aromatic vibe in the opening that also creates the versatility of the fragrance. So while immediately you might think, uh-oh, this is going to be a fall and winter fragrance, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think you can pull it off on a cool spring day, even on a cool summer day or summer morning. And that's the thing, if you're wearing it indoors, wear it whenever you want, right? But this is an awesome honey, cinnamon, tobacco, creamy, smooth, cashmeran, and vanilla kind of a fragrance. Now, as far as the vanilla is concerned, it's very, very mild. Same thing with the tonka bean. You know, predominantly the sweetness that you're going to get from this, I would say is coming from the honey. And I think honey is such a nice and organic pairing to tobacco, which is why we're seeing it with so many fragrances out there, right? Even Red Tobacco by Mancera, Mystery Tobacco by Carolina Herrera. So there's a lot of fragrances out there that kind of have that, you know, sweet, you know, almost honey-like tobacco note. And it's just a pairing that happens to work really well with fragrances. And this fragrance is no exception. Now, you guys know what my favorites are, right? When it comes to the House of Xerjoff. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I personally love Neo. I love Oud and Overdose. It has made several lists that I've compiled in the past. I love More Than Words. It's one of the longest lasting fragrances ever. But there's something about the sexiness of Naxos. Just that, you know, sweet yet mysterious personality that it conveys that I think makes it a very suave release, very elegant, very refined, but also mysterious at the same time, you know? You have a lot of really refined fragrances by Xerjoff, Neo and Renaissance, but they lack that mysterious nature, right? Even Decas, that very bright, refined, classy, but this fragrance is mysterious. The same way Dawn is mysterious from the Join the Club collection. So I'm a fan. I love this one. I'm happy to have it in my collection. And once again, if you're interested in picking it up, I know perfumeonline.ca has it for a really good price at the moment. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, like I said, that sort of honey tobacco combination has been done many, many times in the past, but there's still something very unique and original about Naxos, despite the comparisons to Pure Havane. And, you know, it's only like a 25% similarity. They are still different in their own right. So definitely try this one. I think it's worth sampling if you have the opportunity to do so. And in terms of the longevity, 8+ hours on my skin. Projection is great for the first 45 minutes to an hour. And it started to sit at an elbow's length right around hour 4. Started to sit very close to the skin around hour 6 or 7. And so right around that 8-hour mark is when it disappears. If you put it on clothes, it's going to last a lot longer. So you can expect a few more hours of longevity, which is something I always recommend as long as it's a light enough liquid and it's not going to stain your clothing, or if you're wearing a black shirt, it doesn't really matter. In terms of the versatility, all year round in my opinion, although some might argue that they wouldn't want to wear it in the summertime. I completely understand that. That honey cinnamon tobacco combination might be a little bit too heavy for them. I think it's perfectly unisex. Some might argue it leans masculine, but you know, I know a lot of women's tobacco fragrances. I know a lot of women's honey fragrances, so kind of hard to gauge that. I think this one will appeal to somebody who's a little bit older, a little bit more sophisticated, because like I said, it does carry that mysterious personality about it, and it does give me formal occasion vibes. And so, you know, if you want something a bit more casual, maybe Neo, but I think this fragrance is quite formal in its approach. And in terms of the presentation for Xerjoff fragrances is really second to none. My final verdict on this fragrance is I personally think it's one of Xerjoff's best. It's not my favorite, but I think it's a solid release, and I do think it's one of the best tobacco fragrances ever released. It has a lot of praise. I think the praise is warranted. I think it's justified. And if you haven't tried this fragrance yet, what are you waiting for? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me today. That was my review of 1861 Naxos by Xerjoff. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Please don't forget to support the channel by subscribing to it. If you enjoyed this video, it would help out tremendously, and it's absolutely free. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I do upload future videos on this channel, and give this video a thumbs up if you took something of value from today's episode. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.